Hello everyone, this is Attorney Joseph Radzwion IV, your trusted attorney with Radzwion Law PLLC, and today we are giving you a case update on a case that is personal to Radzwion Law PLLC that I am representing myself in a suit against the Macomb County Clerk. We do also have co-counsel Dean Greenblatt, who is also a licensed attorney here in Michigan and a pro-Second Amendment attorney that advocates for Second Amendment rights here in the state of Michigan. Essentially what happened and what, just a brief overview, a CPL holder in Michigan, there are roughly 700,000 or more, I believe, the last time I looked. And a CPL holder typically has a standard license. There's a list in the law, MCL 228.4250, that restricts the standard CPL license from being able to carry in certain areas. Schools, private and public daycares, hospitals, courthouses, you can look that list up. But under that same statute and under other areas of the law, if you have an exemption, you can carry concealed into those places, okay? I do have another video on what is open carry. That touches a little bit on other areas for the exemption. So this is the story, and I do apologize for not recording this so that you all could see it. But essentially what happened is that I made an appointment for a CPL application at the Macomb County Clerk. I attended that appointment. I walk in with my CPL and my employer ID card, which is required to prove that I work for an entity that essentially I fit into one of these categories that we're talking about here, the exemption categories. So it's a very simple process. You walk in, you ask the clerk behind the counter to start the application process, and they take my credentials. The individual asked me what law enforcement agency I worked for, and I said, I don't work for a law enforcement agency. I'm an officer of the court, and that is Section 5J of the MCL, the law. And he seemed very puzzled, so he goes and gets someone else. That individual comes and speaks with me, and I inform him what I'm attempting to do, and he says, okay, I've never heard of that. He goes back and checks with someone else. That individual says that attorneys do not classify as court officers. I then proceeded to explain to him what the law says, that in fact Michigan does recognize attorneys as officers of the court, that they have the authority, the same as a bailiff, a sheriff deputy, to serve subpoenas, to call people to court. Attorneys' powers extend outside of the courtroom, and he said that that's not what the statute says. So I proceeded to ask him, then please write down what it is that you are denying me for. What is the basis of your denial? Because I want it in writing. And he goes back and checks with whoever he checked with. He comes back. This individual says, we're not going to write down why we're denying you. Now, there are really three big issues here with what's going on. The most obvious one is that my credentials they check out. They meet what the statute says. They meet what the law says. They even meet what the Michigan Supreme Court says. That's violation number one, the outright denial under the law. The second violation that occurred here is when I requested the clerk to give me a written denial, right? The clerk actually has 5 days to write such a denial. And when I requested that, they could have said, we'll write one and mail it to you, but they didn't. I asked them, please give me a written denial, and they said no. The individual goes back, checks with someone, he comes back, and they said, we're not going to give you a written denial. This is a second violation. The second violation is that under the law, the Macomb County Clerk must write down their basis for a denial. That is required. That is part of what the law says that their duties are to the public that elects them. The third violation is when I then said, if you're not going to write it down, I said, what is the appeal process? They said, there is no appeal process. We don't have a form for that, okay? And in future videos, we're gonna look at why that's simply not the case. So those are the three big issues here. Why is this such a big deal? Why should you be concerned about this? Really, a couple reasons. Number one, the Macomb County Clerk is elected by we the people, okay? They are public, they are to do a public service, abide by the law, and serve the public. This is a problem. If our elected officials can do whatever they want, they can ignore the law, they must be held accountable, both in the voting process and in the court process. You should expect to take time, spend money and effort in protecting your rights under the law, because no one is going to protect them for you. And the second thing that we should be concerned about is that if the Macomb County Clerk, or really any public office, is willing to ignore the law, such as this, a simple one, what else are they willing to ignore? So this is why we are filing suit against the Macomb County Clerk, is really to stand up and hold people accountable for what the law says, that they have duties under the law. They must follow the law. No one is above the law. I'm not above the law. You're not above the law. The elected officials are not above the law. So please comment, share, like, subscribe to our videos. And guys, our videos are being censored because of what our content is. If you want to make sure that you see our videos, please go to radzwionlaw.com/blog and subscribe to our newsletter. We do not bombard you with emails. Our videos and our posts come out once a week, every Friday right now. Currently, that is the setup. If you want to make sure that you are following this case update, go to our website, radzwionlaw.com/blog, and subscribe to our newsletter. Thanks for watching, and remember, we are here to protect you when you need it most, and we will fight for your freedom.